He goes 30 CS for a Bob there on that mid side, so he is doing very well against that Sand King. But where is?
Well,
he finds Shanks. He will shank him down
in the jungle to deny the Sand King some farm, or at least be able to keep eyes out on it. Instead, in the bot lane, when there was one, there's two, and EXECRATION here to pick up the second.
I say lose the lane because FBZ has gotten everything that he wants out of this off lane. His farm is not shut down. On his bot side,
ooh, EXECRATION. That's a big rotation from bot coming through. That's going to enable team.
Wait patiently for your openings and then go for an objective.
The Radiant scan ends up missing out completely, so Tino thinks he's safe. The problem is that they'd already started moving over. There's going to be a quick activation of the vision. Meanwhile, Tino, be careful. The epicenter will be charged up. There's no way to get away from it, even with the telekinesis. There's too much damage. Bomb now makes his way back over to the Wisdom Rune. It's going to be an exchange. He simply cannot win. He doesn't even have detection to take down in your dream, so it's a double kill, including one onto the enemy. I mean, this is disastrous. The scan didn't reveal anyone. They missed it by just a bit. And in the meanwhile, top lane, it's going to be potentially a kill from Krish. And look, this is one of those games where Krish will have a chance to truly prove himself. Bob's been off to a decent start, but
Solar Guardian is still not up, so there is this window where you can find the kill.
Avalanche back to telekinesis up. EXECRATION is going to be able to get away from the techie's mine, but is there a chance for Tino to close the distance over here? He does have the roar ready and waiting. Another kill on the EXECRATION will be found, and this is great priority being placed onto the enemy carry, even if he gets the tower. It's a big kill to find. Well, in the meanwhile, Sand King on top lane decides that this is not going to be a kill for Krish getting advantages. It is going to be a trade instead. So
when those ultimates are available.
Krish is also getting a little bit of punishment. Speaking of, the lull in mid-side, Solar Guardian will be coming through from Shanks. Great steal. Didn't even realize to have the extra heal and everything with items if you're just getting in and doing all of that damage. Tiny sometimes can feel like he misses out 100, 200 damage, but you know what? Hold the point, because there's an epicenter initiation. Tino will not get his roar off. He's dead to rights, and yes, there's exchanges, but it's just a hoodwink. Bob reinitiating back in is maybe even a question mark about this. Remnant will not land as a burst strike. Disengage is successful, but mana is a problem for In Your Dream. FBZ nearby is going to try to slow them down more. They're going to have to settle for the egg. The Phoenix will be taken down. And 2 for 1. Tower found. Top lane defended immediately after.
The other spot, meanwhile, EXECRATION, they see him. The Rubik is incoming too.
Shanks is going to go forward, just make sure he can get the slow out, but with the Avalanche now stolen away, there's company coming through. Krish wants to make his way in as well. CML will not need to do too much. There's just going to be a quick remnant to keep EXECRATION at bay. 4 players come in. Credit out to Krish as well. He's been able to get some decent farm, but the problem is he's also been a target. Once again, will be taken down. Krish is going to get credit, but that credit comes.
They can eliminate the difference between Krish and EXECRATION.
In goes Bob, and EXECRATION with a Shadow Blade is still going to be caught out with the dust. He's trying to run away. Great movement speed. Avalanche out onto 3, turns around, decides he'd rather try and fight, but with the telekinesis up, it's not a fair fight at all.
That all of these lanes are pushed out so that REKONIX don't have an easy time pushing into EXECRATION.
Top side FBZ is going to be gone on, but it's a counter initiate. Fantastic power strike, and with a stun on the Krish, In Your Dream will get a double. Looks for 3, and it should be delivered quite quickly. There you have it, Tino. A TP in vain. There's nothing he can do about this one. Even if Bob makes his way over, this is just asking for trouble, and Bob will receive it. A follow-up bushwhack. You've got the Solar Guardian in as well. It's dodged out by the Dissimulate, so Bob is able to stay alive as he gets away from the exploding egg as well. But a blink-in, double power strike. In Your Dream doing it in style. Bushwhack follow-up, and goodbye, Bobby Boy. It's all down to Tino to make sure that he's not a part of an entirely dead team, and he's not, because the deck is respawned. Smoke up, and In Your Dream is now looking for an initiation, not a counter initiation. He will find it. Bob stunned on. They find this being a solo kill. Bob being down means that this becomes a very difficult fight. Now, Engaging into the techies jungle is never fun, and they've found that out themselves. Still, they can go forward. There aren't too many more mines over here. And Delul, I mean, he's always happy to be taken down in exchange. Zippo in the back line just found out this Beastmaster of the War will help. And now Chris actually gets to deal damage. In the eye of the storm, dominating everyone in front of him. FBZ running out of his blade mill, and it's the Phoenix Supernova pop through that saves them. Otherwise, Chris could have gone in for more. And to build it right now either. This has to be a straight up Bob going in with the Astro Step gets out as well. Chris BKB up, and he does want to rip apart this rock, but Jikroy is a lot harder to take down than that. It's mines all over the shop, and Chris will be forced back with his BKB running out. It's important that they get at least one more kill. And BZ in the midst of it all. Dino, they saw him taken down. Bob back in, snatches the Aegis, will be trading his life for it. No, this simulates his way forward into Delul. It's just not enough though. They've lost everyone by now. Bob, valiant effort to steal the Aegis. He just doesn't do enough. Jikroy being allowed to re-engage after the Razor's BKB runs out.
Jikroy is going for that Satanic. Meanwhile, you do have the Pipe of Insight built up now, as Dino will be going for an Assault Quartus. Bob?
Double Astral Step will not matter when there's a Harpoon from Jikroy. As possible, but speed might.
Oh, they saw him.
Death of the head. Bob caught up by the avalanche in. They've got the Blink Power Strike as well, and it is gone. How do you handle this situation where you cannot go in, where it's a slow death for Roshan, and in your dream finally gets his chance to initiate? The Solar Guardian coming out will be dodged by most, but at least CML is stand up. In the meanwhile, it's also the egg being used. Now you need to re-engage. Jikroy picks up the Aegis. It will not be snatched this time over, but they have no choice but to fight. Jikroy, the back line, takes down Bob. Bob will survive by the sliver of HP that will take him back to base if he's lucky, but luck is not on the side of Execration right now. This Razor BKB is over. Tino's being targeted. Tino will fall down. Chris is doing all he can, but there's still that Aegis that you have to clear through, and even that might not happen. It's all going to be gone and done with. Execration. They are going to be fortunate enough to pick up the Aegis, I suppose, but when you don't have buybacks, this is going to be a guaranteed loss on your barracks. As long as they're willing to commit to it. No buyback on the Beastmaster, no buy.
That refresher. So this is one of the ultimate advantages of a Dawnbreaker who is ahead. He can farm and he can be relevant for his team at the same time.
Telekinesis up. Shanks will be picking himself up in the meanwhile as well, but it's his catch out in the back lines with a stun on the 2. Tino will get his roar off. That's enough to kill the Sand King, but the problems are not done yet. Does Jikroy want to reinitiate? FBZ has healed up completely. There's that big heal that we're talking about. Jikroy considering going back in. He instead will realize it is time to disengage. That Satanic has been used. He's not going to be able to attack anyone. He is taken down and out, and this is what Execration has been looking for the past 15 minutes.
What a whiff of him.
Do they have protection overhead? Do they need it? Solar Guardian coming in. This might end up being 2 dead. Chris trying to turn around overhead. Solar Guardian has been stolen. Stun back onto 2. There's that steal you were looking for. FBZ, the Daedalus isn't going to help you over here as the stun now continues after his BKBs run out. He's trying to run away. The TP attempted. Will it be cancelled? How do you have nothing to cancel this teleportation?
I think that double BKB is exactly the right item.
You don't get to double BKB. All in the meanwhile, you don't get to have Bob either. There's 40 seconds when the Tiny will be alive and Bob will not be there. This is likely going to be an initiation onto Roshan, which is why Execration want to fight back here. And now Solar Guardian to heal them up. This is going to be CML to go down. Delul will even stay alive. Execration in desperation, and desperation will damn them. Buybacks available on 3, but that shouldn't make. I feel like this should be the guarantee. Tino caught out, stunned up, should be taken down. The regen is good, but Krish is doing all he can. He's got good damage, but now he's hexed up as well, being kept at bay. Disables are too strong. Execration are going to have to call it. It's a valiant attempt, but they cannot make up for the sins gone by. Bob stunned up, tossed back, lifted as well. But as Bob re-engages, sure, he gets one, but there's no way to kill Jikroy without this Razor. You simply do not have the damage. A buyback from Bob might help, though, and with now the re-initiation using the Satanic, Jikroy needs to be careful. There's more coming in from Bob, but it just feels like this Tiny is invincible. Varish on the high ground. Bob will then join him there instead. It's a trap as he's caught out with the Hex. The Supernovas come back off of cooldown. Varish hits him with the Voice Line as well. And it's just going to be all over.
They didn't fight long in RT time. I will give them that. Execration, they kept REKONIX at bay for so long for the first 20 to 25 minutes of the game. REKONIX were matched evenly, but I do feel like this game did... They go for
Luna
the watered down
gyrocopter. Yeah, boomerangs instead of missiles.
You have to keep REKONIX on their toes.
Varish, in the meanwhile, just wants to make sure he's not in his grave. Tina will pick up first blood. Jikroy will be able to respond. The neutrals don't steal it away.
Under-farm Lunas, but I have never seen an under-level Luna simply because of the Lunar Graves.
Well, maybe we might get to see something new over here. Jikroy will be going down. That's a guarantee. Shanks is hesitant to take the kill, but in doing so, Tino will be putting himself at risk, or maybe not. The body blocks aren't enough to have Varish be brought down, but never mind. Shanks is getting frisky.
You won't have the luxury of playing from behind if you're the gyrocopter. So for Execration, they need to stay on their toes.
Well, right now they're doing a very good job of stomping on the toes of REKONIX. Just lose lanes so much more quickly versus a Sand King. If you try and go for the range creep tonight, you just get destroyed. Shanks in the bottom lane, though, speaking of destroyed, it's going to be taken away. But again, if Tino survives over here, this is good. You're keeping 3 players away.
The network chart, so it is likely he will be the target of REKONIX. But at the same time, they want to shut down Tino.
Tino's going to be able to get the Ravage out of 2. This is perfect. Luna's dead and Disruptor as well. They completely misread the situation.
The CML fight for $1, that's pretty well worth it. But Krish needs to be careful.
Blink in from In Your Dream. He doesn't have mana for the epicenter. Cooldown will be used, but with a catch out for the Primal Beast, it'll still be 8 out. The Pulverize enough to... It's such a ridiculously good item.
Top lane
for how cheap it is. Top lane, indeed. It's going to be a catch out on the Varish. Remember, Varish does have himself a status storm. They want to make sure that he's taken down before he can use it. That gives them an advantage trying to chase forward when it comes to this Wisdom Rune fight that they're setting up for. Bushwhack could not be better, but FBC will have his onslaught back very soon. Can they catch him out in the middle of it? No, they can't. The Rubik with the stolen call down does send it back over, and with Nervnet as well wants to re-engage. Ravage onto 2 In Your Dream, trying to do what he can over here, but what he can do is die. Krish is low, but it will not matter. There's too much damage. At least does get a kill, and Tino looks like he might be struggling to get back over here. Jikroy will get caught out. No! You can't die on the Luna just for a measly Enchantress.
You had that call down, but you could have retreated. They got greedy trying to contest their Shrine of Wisdom, and they're going to lose 6 heroes for it. And it feels like REKONIX haven't taken enough of a beating, but with the Pulverize, maybe they will be able to take down the Void Spirit at the very least. Bob's Mega Kill goes the other way, but I feel
Bob being farmed and Bob not being farmed. They're actually able to fight repeatedly. The Lul over here needs to be careful, though. The Aether Remnant, they will be able to potentially turn things around. Varish does not have that static storm for another 15 seconds, and one more Spirit Lesson as well, what Bob was going for. 3-man stun from In Your Dream, but Bob is still grims back over. FBZ's onslaught catches him out. Now, Tino doesn't have Ravage for another 30 seconds, but if Krish makes his way through, that would be big. He doesn't have a TP scroll, though, so this is going to be a losing team fight, and it'll take some time for Execration to realize that. In Your Dream ends up wasting his epicenter onto a Tidehunter who's too tanky with the help of that cloak that he's purchased up. And surprisingly enough, despite the extended team fight, it goes the way of EXECRATION. Will that continue to be the case? In your dream, reinitiates back in. They've got the stun on Tide, and now Tide will falter. So 2 big kills, and JKroy is able to get involved in some.
And it's not even just the damage. That's just one component. It's also the control. All the right side of Kinesis
taking the control. Link in from In Your Dream is fine with wasting a couple of Epicenter stacks, but that might mean that Bob can get away. No, he can't. Not with the Static Storm. Bob. This is the real fight. This is what they're actually looking for, but they have to be careful. Varish can always glimpse Dino back if he sees him first. Dino moving forward. They catch out the Luna. They do have the Ravage. They will use it immediately. Where's that Barrow Strike counter initiation? Will it be too late? Luna's already dead. There's no reason to go in. They realize it as well. Without the Eclipse, they might be limited in damage, but no, they still want to go in. Chris should fall over here, but do they have anything to counteract that out with? Double bushwhack. Great damage. Spraying out for the Infinite as well, but FBZ trying to turn around with the Pulverize and the Trample. He's taking too much damage himself. Will be taken away. It's a 2-for-1 so far. Make it 3 as Varish nearby. Actually, reinitiate In Your Dream. Doesn't need to have any teammates apparently. He just gets them all for free. Does Varish have a glimpse? No, he doesn't.
They need to find the right target though. And FBZ is definitely not it.
CML leading the charge over here, wants to get the little friends, but now they have the high ground advantage. Going in with the Ravage is necessary, but can they find it? No, they don't need to. It's going to be a focus down on JKroy. JKroy BKB's up. Ravage is going to be out. JKroy doesn't care about the Ravage, but he's still being dealt too much damage. It's a fantastic initiation. It's all you could have ever really asked for. 3 players taken down, the mid and the carry amongst them. EXECRATION don't lose a single player. Fight.
And for REKONIX, going to get picked up. Oh, maybe they can find more Krish. Has that Aegis.
He does have the Aegis, so this is going to be scary. Krish can turn things around, deal good damage. BKB will be back up when he comes back alive. Krish will look for the turnaround, but now JKroy uses his own BKB as well. Bob can't escape over here. Krish goes back in. He has to handle this team fight on his own without there being a Ravage to help out either. And he's figuring out that this is too little damage from him. He's glimpsed back over BKBs to get away. He's using it defensively, but despite that early advantage that they managed to get, they still lose out 3 players and the Aegis immediately after.
Right, against a gyrocopter with no MKB. Now sure, Krish does have the Satanic. EXECRATION though, once again.
Oh no, they're going to be able to get away. Only the Disruptor can die. Maybe not even him. Nope, Disruptor is gone. Now listen, they won't have the Static Storm in this fight. This is something not bad. Krish can use the BKB to turn things around over here as well. Radicon 2. Why are they not fighting is the big question. That's what Bob is asking. He goes back in, but Krish is on the low ground. He's given up his advantage. He can't chase up after them. Hoping missile or not, JKroy will be stunned. Do they have the ability to chase? They don't. Not with FBZ re-engaging back in with the Pulverize. Krish now finally uses his BKB. He uses his Satanic. Will be able to reach and back up, but they've lost their chance to take down JKroy. Now they know that the BKB is going to be running out. Krish is caught out by the Epicenter. Krish has to fight his way out of it, and he's picked up the Telekinesis, disabling him completely. That has to be one of the poorest executed team fights coming through, and you get the kill on the JKroy while he doesn't have buyback. Even that, I guess, is just you can't do anything. The balance with gone. There's a blink and initiate. Can they take down JKroy with a 3-man round if they need to? And the damage is certainly there, but the Satanic will take it all away. Krish can't fight back anymore. They have their chances and they've lost them all. They don't have any choice. They will have to use their buybacks. Go back in. Can they find JKroy over here? No, they can't. Burrow strike away for the Sand King to escape, and they're asking them to come back in and fight them. JKroy feels confident. He'll have a Satanic again in 5 seconds. He still has his Lunar Eclipse. He still has every advantage possible. And with a Pulverize to catch out Krish, that buyback is going to be meaningless. You don't need the Aegis. You don't need buybacks. And honestly, you don't need anything. They don't lose 0 players on the Radiant side. REKONIX will just end the game here and now.
For Copenhagen has come to an end. REKONIX will proceed on further to the grand finals. of EXECRATION, but there are weaknesses in REKONIX's lineup. There were moments when EXECRATION could have won the game, but I feel like that last team fight where in that triangle